Well, hello and welcome back to another incredible video. And today I'm going to share with you 10 Dollar Tree DIYs that look incredibly high-end and that are easy to do. So let's jump into it. You saw I am using those nautical themed kind of wood cutouts, which when I saw these, I was like, okay, I'm about to do a lamp with these. I knew it right away. Some chopping mats. I do wind up using a couple of tumbling tower blocks and a little piece of scrap wood that I got, but you can certainly use a foam board for this project. Okay, so I'm going to get those beads and those jute cords off of my nautical pieces, and I will set these to the side because I will be reusing some of these. So after I get my chopping mats out, and I will be using 5 chopping mats and then 5 nautical pieces, I go ahead and just measure down the size that I need to cut the chopping mats to, and then I just go ahead and cut all 5 of those mats down. Once I have all my mats, all 5 of them, I go ahead and just hot glue those down to the nautical pieces. So once we have our completed frames, which is the chopping mat glued down to the nautical piece, we are going to start to build our box, starting off with those 4 sides. And I just go ahead and connect these with hot glue, and then I come through with a tumbling tower block in 2 places and glue that down as well. So once we have our 4 sides together, I just go ahead and add that 5th panel to the top. Okay, so one of the things that makes our lamp portable is that it has 6 sides, and that's where my scrap piece comes into play. And again, you could use foam board for this. I actually did a craft a while back where I utilized a piece of foam board for this, but I basically just take my puck light, I trace it out on my scrap piece, and then I cut that out. And it leaves a jagged looking circle, but it works. And I go ahead and slide my puck light into that circle. Then I glue it down. And one thing that I do, just because I had that jute rope and I figured, hey, let's just, reinforce this, is I went ahead and hit it with that jute rope around the puck light, if you will. And that just gave me more surface area for the glue to sit on. And obviously you want to insert your light so that the light is pointing into the box and that the batteries are accessible on the outside. And then we just go ahead and add our bottom. Now I did hot glue this on camera, but then I came back through and just kind of stapled it in just to reinforce it. As you guys know, I like to reinforce my designs. Lastly, I reused the beads from one of the hangers and I just added them as feet to the bottom of my design. This just keeps it nice and portable, gives me some place to be able to set it down firmly. You guys know that I always say this, but this is a freaking showstopper. This would be cool. At first I was thinking like a kid's room, but this would be cool for an adult. We're going to use this on our porch. This is ridiculous. I love the way that this came out. I love those nautical pieces of wood. I love how inexpensive this was. I love it. I'm showing this to you guys kind of styled with a couple of different lights at some point. Make sure to comment which shade of light you liked. Did you like the light blue? I kind of thought that that like muted orange was pretty cool because it looked almost like a sunset. I don't know. You guys let me know in the comments. So this one is going to be super easy. I want to throw a quick simple easy one in here for you guys. So I basically just arranged the spoons in a design that I liked, and then I cut down a piece of lathing strip. I think this was about, I want to say 18 or 19 inches long. And then I just go ahead and glue it to the back of my spoons. And then I just put some reinforcement glue to make sure that this will hold. And then I add a clawed tooth hanger on the back so that I could put this on the wall. And that is it. And she came out freaking stunning. Okay, so this is one of those DIYs that just proves the point that it doesn't have to be complicated to be beautiful or high-end. Let me know if you guys will be giving this one a try in the comments. I'm going to be showcasing some of those stemless wine glasses that came in a pack of 6 from the Dollar Tree, as well as a piece of wood that I picked up from the discount wood section in Lowe's. You would have seen that in one of my shorts. So anyway, let's go ahead and jump into it. Okay, you guys. So I love when I am DIYing and I create something that's basically a set of DIYs that go together. That is the case with today's video. And what I did was I used the same piece of wood, just made the cuts, sanded it down. So this wood cost me basically $1.50 and I still had wood left over. So that is one of the reasons, like I said, that it's important to go buy your wood from the hardware store and not from the Dollar Tree. And I went ahead and just stained all of my wood pieces utilizing that Waverly antique wax. Okay, you guys, so after my wood has been stained, I go ahead and gather up 9 of those stemless glasses, which obviously they're made out of plastic, not glass. And I take some little clippings of some greenery that I had left out, and then I go ahead and apply my glasses to the wood. Now for each piece of wood, I'm going to be applying 3 of the glasses, quote unquote glasses, and I'm alternating the direction that the glass is pointed. Now for me and my design, this is just what I wanted. If you were going to recreate it, you could certainly have them all pointing the same direction, but for the effect that I was going for, I opted to alternate their directions. Okay, so I basically just keep applying the glasses to the wood until I get my 3rd row complete. And that's pretty much it. And that's one of the things I love about DIYs like this is that she's stunning. She's absolutely stunning, looks incredibly high-end, but was easy. And sometimes, again, it's just nice to do these easy DIYs, right? So comment below if you guys love the way that this looks, and if you're feeling its high-end elements. I'm just taking 3 of those stemless wine glasses and I connect them together via hot glue. And when I have that 3-piece set, I go ahead and connect that to one of my pieces of wood that's already been stained again with the Waverly Antique Wax. And then I connect the other piece of wood. Then what I do is just stick in a beautiful piece of greenery, and then bada bing, bada boom, we have this elegant looking vase. Now obviously you could put a little bit of water in there and throw in like a real flower, but I just opted to use a piece of greenery. Again, you guys, comment below if, like I said, you're feeling these pieces, because for whatever reason I'm feeling them. Obviously because I made them, but they're giving me the kind of boho, I don't know, something high-end kind of vibes. But let me know if you guys are feeling the same way. And I'm pretty sure that this one's my favorite. You guys comment which one of these is your favorite. So basically I take another piece of wood, I believe this one was 9 inches long, and I add 3 of those stemless wine glasses, and I just kind of space them apart evenly so that they make sense to me. After I have those glued down, I go ahead and I add some, I think these are just called eyelet hooks, and I picked up a pack of these from Amazon. If you need to know where I got these, let me know in the comments and I will link them. But I put 4 of them on, 2 on each side. After that, I go ahead and I add some jute cord so that I can have a nice little hanging string. I think you guys see where I'm going with this for this one. So once I have all my strings together, I just grab a O-ring, and it's one of those wood rings that I stained also with Waverly Antique Wax, and I wrap my strings around that, make sure that they're nice and level, and then I just glue it down, and that's it. And then once I have the piece together, I take a couple of stems that I got from Hobby Lobby for 99 cents. And I believe that these were 99 cents regular priced, but I got there on that day where all the florals were half off, so I got these for 50 cents. And I can't believe it because I think that they're beautiful. But I go ahead and I put those in, and then there we have it. Again, I cannot stress enough how much it's important to remember that having things look high-end does not mean that they have to be complicated. You can make incredibly easy, incredibly inexpensive crafts look high-end. Again, this one's going to be another quick one, you guys. So I'm basically taking 8 of those kind of rainbow MDF shapes, and I'm attaching them at first just back to back, just 2 of them back to back. And I go ahead and do this until I have 4 sets. Okay, so once I have my 4 sets, I grab 2 of them and then attach them together back to back, or I should say arch to arch. My one tip here would be, this is not the place to skimp on the glue. Go in on the glue. This is a very, very chunky, hardy piece, and it can take the glue. So make sure you're gluing those pieces together very, very well in the center. Then I come through and attach my other 2 to that 2-piece set. When it's finished, I love it. It looks great on its own, but it can also be used as a base to any sort of riser, and you can pick and choose what sort of top that you want to use. Now you will see me style this just using a plain old square white plate that I got from Walmart. I also will be using a tray, kind of a serving tray that I picked up from Home Goods for like $17 that really pops with this piece. But ultimately you could use a wood round, you could use a round glass plate, you could do whatever you could probably even put a plant on this. It's that sturdy. But either way, I think it's just a really good base to explore how you might want to decorate your home. I'm going to be using one of those trays that I picked up from the Dollar Tree Plus section, and I think this was last fall. And then I'm also going to be using, of course, that same reel of rope, and I'm going to be using a tile that I picked up from Target. Okay, so here's one of those instances where I started off confidently as a crafter and realized that I was wrong and had to start again. I basically started my rope going around the tile, not really accounting for the fact that this tray is rectangular and that was not going to work. So what you will see is me realizing this, pulling the rope up and then going back to start around the edge of the tray and then working my way in. Now, once I get in to the center of the tray and I start to run out of space for my rope, that's where the creativity comes in. And I really like what I did to kind of solve this problem. Okay, so after we get our rope down, that is it. So just showing you guys a few of the pieces that I'm going to be using. All wood, one of those long wood planks from the Dollar Tree, some of those macrame wood circles, some half beads, a skewer stick. Come on now, I'm using all the wood. And I go ahead and take this stuff outside and just give it a coat of brown spray paint because I did not feel like staining. So the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and get my platform built. And so I'm going to take that rectangular piece of wood from the Dollar Tree and my half beads, and I'm going to go ahead and glue those on the bottom because they're going to act in as feet. Then I'm going to take one of those long skewers, also from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to glue one to the front of my platform and then one to the back. And you will watch as I do this. So now that our platform is built, I'm gonna go ahead and add my rings, and you guys will watch as this comes together. So once my rings are down, I go ahead and grab 3 of those mini cordial glasses, if you will, from the Dollar Tree. And they are not glass, they are plastic, that is true. But I'm gonna use them nonetheless, and they are gonna act as my vases. I go ahead and slip one down into each set of rings, and then I fill them in with a little bit of aquarium glass, and then I drop some greenery, and you guys are gonna see what this looks like in just a moment. So I'm always going to love the combination of things like wood and glass, especially when you add something that has this beautiful pop of green. Let me know in the comments if you guys feel the same way. And I think this one is pretty quick and easy as well. I'm going to be using 2 frames from the Dollar Tree as well as some of those black spoon holders. So I'm just going to start by getting my frames prepped, opening them up, pulling out the tabs, and then I'm also going to sand them down. This is pretty common technique for me. I usually do that just to help with adherence of the hot glue. Once everything is prepped, I just go ahead and start hot gluing my spoons on, and I basically am alternating which end is up, if that makes sense, and you'll watch as I add these all around my frames. Once my spoons are added, I take one of those placemats, and you would have seen me use this in one of my hanging lamp DIYs, and I just cut it down to size and then glue it down to my frame bottom. This just kind of gives me a ledge to be able to set things, and later on I'll be setting a plant in here. And there you have it. It was that quick, that easy, and that simple. I just threw a puck light right up underneath that to give it a little bit of a lighting element, but otherwise, this thing is freaking stunning. Say that it does not look high-end. You guys, again, let me know in the comments if you're feeling these pieces. I'm basically doing a hanging plant basket, if you will, using almost all items from the Dollar Tree. The only item that I'm using that is not from the Dollar Tree is my actual hanging plant part. And I will link that for you guys in the description box because you're going to love it. It's from Amazon, and I'm a repeat buyer of this hanging plant. But anyway, let's get into the planter. Okay, so as is the case with so many of these quick ones, this is very easy. This came out perfect. This is exactly what I wanted. And some of you who are fans of the channel will see that it's being styled alongside one of my favorite DIYs that I did. I'll make sure to link that video in the description box if anybody wants to give that one a shot. As always, I appreciate you guys so very much. You have no idea. And I thank you for watching. I hope that you'll subscribe if you haven't already. And I hope that you'll come back, hang out, and be okay with us.